We're going to give it the beans on a little game called Stonespine Architects.
Nailed it.
I had to practice that a few
Had to
times.
practice the name, a little bit.
I've been calling that game Stonespire
I
for
can
the
see that.
last 6 months.
There's a lot of games with Stonespire in them, so I can see that. That's all right.
It's Stonespine Architects.
It is.
And we're
I think I've said Stonespire as well.
Oh,
Do you?
Yeah,
So it's not just me.
It's not just you.
Yeah.
just expect it, folks. I'm gonna probably mess that up tonight. We'll botch it. But when we give the beans here on the Beans and Dice, what we do is we talk about the BEANS, and that's the basics, the enjoyments, the E for enjoyments, the A for aesthetics, the N for negatives, and then the S for the summary. We're bringing Chris into this episode because he has a physical copy of the game.
Sure does.
We have all been BGA players of the game. Chris introduced at least me to the game.
And me, yeah.
I don't know if he introduced you, Nate,
All three
but
of
he
us, yeah.
invited me to a game, and that's my first time playing it. So for that reason, I thought we'd get some expert, hands-on opinion on there. He's accredited and officially a YouTube contributor with his own YouTube channel.
Woo-hoo.
So we're going to bring him in for this Give It the Beans.
Not that we weren't looking for an opportunity to get you on anyway, Chris, but this was just the right time. It fit in perfect.
It worked out great.
Yep.
All right, let's start with the basics. Chris, you want to give us the basics, the lowdown. What is Stonespine Architects?
Nailed it.
Sure. So this is a set collection, closed drafting game with little hand management. It's also simultaneous, because drafting games typically are. So what you're doing on your turn is you're basically got a hand of cards, and you're deciding which card you want, playing it in front of you, building out your dungeon. And then you take that hand of cards and pass it to the player to your left. And then you get their hand, and then you take a card and do the same, and you keep going around and around until all the cards are gone in your hand. That signals the end of the round. And then you're basically building a grid of your dungeon, 4x4 grid. And you're going to get those 4 cards, play them. And then once you get your 4 cards out, then there's going to be some money you get to spend. And each of the cards have gold values on them that show you how much money you get to spend. I'll show you a little picture of it here. So we got at the very bottom, there's the gold value. This is gold value of 4. And so you'll just add up your total gold value along with all of your treasure chest, which the treasure chest is this right at the top. You add up the sum value of that. That is your money to spend for the end of the round. And the end of the round, there's going to be in-game objectives that you will be able to select. So you're drafting in-game objectives. If you have the most money, you'll get to choose first. There are also these tiles that you can take instead. There'll be a market of various tiles. And these tiles have different components of your dungeon. So you'll have victory points is one of them. So there's these little star symbols. You'll have traps. And you'll have these little cool ladder looking things, which let you connect rooms together. So there's these various assortment of tiles, and each of them have a value on them. And you often will get 2 of these tiles because these little cards will tell you how much each one is worth. And you'll select those. And then basically, once you're done spending money on these tiles, you will select one of these in-game objective cards, which will be, score at the end of the game. First person basically who passes will get to do that. And then turn order is determined by the first person who passes will be the first person in the next round. Even though it's drafting, there is a tiebreaker element. And obviously, whoever gets that has the most money will be able to buy these various tiles. So their turn order does matter because those tiebreakers sometimes do take effect. And that's basically in a nutshell what it is. You're going to do that 4 times. It's a 4x4 grid. And then you're going to score up all of your various elements in your dungeon. You're also going to score up all of your paths. So you'll have a path to your start at the very top of your dungeon. You'll have a path to the exit of your dungeon. You will score every card that is connected to both. So you'll count up all the 16 cards you have in your tableau. You will see how many connect to your entrance. You'll see how many connect to your exit. And then you're going to get up to 32 points based on that. If all of them connect both, that's 32 points. Less than that, you get less points. And that's pretty much it. You also have an objective that everyone is going for as well that is played out at the beginning of the game. So everybody's vying for that objective. If you have the most, you're going to get the most points. If you have the second most, you'll get the second most points. And I don't know if there's a third place for that one. I think there might be. I think it's first, second, and third are awarded points for that objective. So you'll basically have 3 objectives that you have drafted throughout the game. You'll have a global objective that everybody's vying for. You'll have points for connecting your rooms to the exit and the entrance. And then you'll have these element cards. Oh, I haven't gone to the blueprints. Everybody will have a blueprint card. And this blueprint will tell you what components you would like or what you need in your dungeon. And so you will follow this guide. I'm looking for it now. You might be pulling up on there. And you will follow the blueprint as best you can to score the most points from that blueprint.
Blueprints are going to dictate what you want where in your 4x4 tableau.
Here's one.
There's a good example.
Yeah, here's one right here.
Yeah, so it's going to show your 4x4 for those that are just listening to the audio. It'll show the 4x4 layout of your board. It'll show where your entrance is and where your exit is. And then it's going to show you what types of things, what types of creatures, or what types of rooms you want in certain locations. And then the more of those you meet, objective-wise, the more points you'll get at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. Here's another one for reference. So you'll have various monsters and traps on these blueprints.
They also tell you the types of dungeon tiles that you draft come in 2 flavors. There's stone dungeon areas, and then there are dirt-based dungeon areas. And so you might have seen on those cards, they will dictate to you that Chris got examples of both of them there, I think. There's the stone background and the dirt background. But then on that overlay card that you're trying to lay out, one of the other things it has on there is in those particular areas. You can mix in your dungeon, you can mix the stone and the dirt backgrounds. But this one, like this card that he's holding up now, there's 4 areas there that you want to have the dirt background, dirt-based parts of the dungeon in those locations.
Mm-hmm. There's the dirt one right there. It's got a little mountain symbol on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like unfinished. It's kind of more of a cavern than it is a proper dungeon, you would think, with a dwarven dungeon, which is finished with flooring.
Cool.
That's pretty much the basics. Like, that's what the game does. Any thoughts on the basics that we missed?
I don't think so. The only other thing I was going to mention is that it is fairly structured in the layout. So Chris mentioned you're drafting. It's around each round you're going to draft 4 cards. So you start with 4, you take 1, you pass. You go down to 3, down to 2, down to 1, and whatever card you get last is you just place it where it is. And so you would think laying out these little paths through the dungeon is not maybe so hard, but the structure of getting that last card and just having to play it and then later figuring out maybe how to loop back around to that one if it doesn't fit in with your design. But the structuring of the game, so all of the first 4 you're placing, they're all going to go on the top level, so you can't place them anywhere in this 4x4 grid. They're going to have to go on the top level. The second round, the second 4 cards will go the second, then the third, and then the fourth. And so you've got this structure that you're having to abide by. When you place that first one, if you place it in a corner, it's in the corner. You can't ever move it because your grid is kind of set. It doesn't scroll around or move around. So the next cards you draft, you can put them anywhere. It doesn't have to be next to or attached to the card you already played. So sometimes you're laying these out in kind of separate areas, hoping you're going to draw the right cards to give you the right paths to connect them up somewhere down the road. So it's very interesting in that way, and there's a little bit of
it is very structured.
Yeah, placing a card, and it's not just throwing it anywhere, and it's not easy to connect these things. So
let's talk about the E for enjoyment in the beans. Wayne, what's one thing you enjoy? We'll go round robin until we run out.
I mean, the theme is kind of cool. It's quasi Dungeons and Dragons. You're taking the opposite of the thing. As you think about, you play the adventurer. In this, you're playing the person who's designing the dungeon to trap the adventurers, right? So it's kind of you get to play the opposite side of that. So the theme is there, right? It's not super drenched in theme, but it's a kind of a cool concept where there's been some other games like that. There's like Boss Monster where you create the dungeon.
Yes.
And so it's similar to that. So I think I enjoy that aspect of it, that it's got the light, fantasy type theme, and it's you're building a dungeon instead of going through the dungeon. So
This is the same company that does Role Player, right?
I believe so.
Is that right, Chris? I know you.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Yep. So it's got that,
Thunderworks Games.
it's that meta game to the theme. Like, okay, we're in the role playing world, but you're gonna play a board game about the role playing world or
Right.
one aspect of the role playing world.
That's probably my enjoyment. So jumping over to me, but that's you guys like the role play and the Dungeons and Dragons part of it. I'm not a role player, but this game definitely has a lot of, I won't call it Euro to it, but I'm trying to meet all my objectives. I'm really trying. I could care less about the theme. I could care less if the kobold's next to the trap, next to the blob monster, whatever those things are. But I'm more about hitting the objectives. I got a blueprint. I've got a structure here. How am I going to do things? How am I going to maximize my points by putting things in the right places? I'm thinking ahead about that coins, getting the coins. If I can't put a card right where I need to, and another card will work, I'm going to take the one that has more coins on it. So then maybe I'll be higher in the drafting order once it comes time to buy those extra things. Maybe buy a secret passage and connect two things that didn't connect before, something like that. So I like it's thinky enough for my Euro brain that I could care less about the theme and stuff, but it's still fun because of those mechanisms and trying to put things where they belong.
They did cartographers.
Yes,
Cartographers,
that's
there's
the other
another
one.
Cartographers.
That's exploring the land
Yeah.
to try to find regions and draw a map for the queen.
There you go.
Role player is building a character for a D&D style fantasy game,
Mm-hmm.
and then here you're drawing a dungeon. So it's like you're doing all the stuff that you would do in a campaign as a dungeon master, but you're doing it through board game mechanisms. I think my enjoyment is, for me, the blueprint card. Like, that is the check the box activity that distills the game down to its simplest form for me. Like, okay, if I can just check these boxes by putting these things in these right places, then I feel like I'm 70% through my scoring.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's like a big chunk of my scoring. That's most of the game, and it keeps it simple for someone that is going to play this on its easy mode, not as a super thinker. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to overanalyze it. I just want to fill in my blueprint and feel good about that. Everything else is just icing on the cake.
There you go.
I like the blueprint card. Chris, what do you like?
I just like drafting in general. Closed drafting is a lot of fun because I have a hand of something. You don't know what I have. I get to pick, and then I get to see what's next. And I like the decision space there with the closed drafting. So that's number one. Number two is you get to build something, right? You start with nothing at the beginning, and then you get to build this 4x4 grid. Then you've built something, and it's cool to see all the traps, the monsters, all the little elements in your dungeon that's unique to you, because everyone's dungeon is unique at the end of the game. So that'd be probably my two things there that I really like.
All right. Did we miss any enjoyments?
I think I covered it for me. Yeah.
Okay. So that gets us to the A for aesthetics. Fellas, if I'm right, each of us have played it. Here at the studio, I mean.
Right.
My man Wayne over there, myself, Rob. But we've only played BGA, right?
Right. All
Okay.
online. Yep.
Let's give it the BGA treatment real quick. What are your thoughts on BGA and how it's implemented? Chris, you can jump in on that because I know you've been a part of that gameplay too.
I think it's a very good implementation, and I love you can click a little button and it shows the path.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's nice.
That's like the best aesthetic to me is like instead of having to like trace it with my eyes, I can just click a button and a little blue line comes through and shows you where you're connected and not connected.
Yep.
So I like that aspect of it. It's very easy to understand the iconography and stuff like that. So I'll let others add to that. To me,
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Board Game Arena, that makes it super simple. You hover over something, it tells you what it does. So it tells you what it is. If it's a kobold or I don't know whatever the little red thing meanies are, but
The red ones are the kobolds.
kobolds or the green
Orcs
ones,
and goblins.
orcs, goblins, yeah, whatever they are. So D&D stuff, yeah, geeky stuff. But anyway, so you just hover over them, it tells you what they are, and then same with the your objective card, you can hover over it, it'll give you a little hints on it. So yeah, the online version makes it really easy, and it's a good implementation. Doesn't let you on Board Game Arena on BGA, it doesn't let you make mistakes. So I believe this one has an undo button, if I remember. So maybe
It's not quite an undo button because that was going to be something I enjoyed in the implementation.
Okay.
Is I can pick what card I want to draft out, right? That I want to send out, and where I want to, which card I want to pick and where I want to put it.
confirm
But then I have until everyone's made that decision
Oh, okay, yeah.
to keep that, because at any point I can be like, I changed my mind. As long as not everyone has made their decision,
Right.
Yeah.
you have the ability to change your mind. Once everyone has made their decision, then it's locked in and it gets
Yeah.
placed in that spot.
Okay.
So that does kind of feel good in the implementation. Not an undo button,
Yeah,
but kind of
close.
like waiting for everyone to put a
Yeah.
card
A
down.
cool off
Okay.
period.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Any thoughts on the BGA implementation, Chris?
Yeah, it's great. I like the live scoring feature. You get
Oh,
to
yeah.
see how everyone's doing until the end. There's going to be some in-game scoring, but you kind of get a good gauge of how well you're doing as
Yeah.
the game goes on. I like that. I also like the show path button. I always use that. So you don't have to try to look at each card and try to figure out, okay, where am I going? Where am I going? You said show path, shows you all your connected points. So I think it's an incredible implementation.
I don't
mean,
think
it's
I've
just-
ever looked at the board states, plural, for everyone in the game and been confused. So looking at BGA, its implementation, I can look at everyone's board. I can easily see what are our goals, what's going to get us points. So it's so like it's never been confusing. I've played some BGA implementations where I'm like, I'm not sure who's doing what or how are we scoring this. Like it's just so simple.
Yeah. Agreed.
Now the physical copy, we don't have a copy here at the studio. Chris, you've got a copy. Can you run us through the aesthetics? So component quality, artwork, storage, all the stuff that goes along with is a board game good to have physically?
Absolutely. So we've got this nice little player board here. It's pretty thick cardboard, very good quality. It's got a solo side, so it does support solo play. So double-sided board here.
Okay.
So that's nice. It also has these etches at the bottom, and this is where you put your turn order disc. Everyone has a disc for turn order, so that's pretty cool. It has a nice custom insert where you keep all the tokens.
Okay.
So
that's
it even
always
says Stonespine Architects on it. You got that. The insert itself inside is custom. It's very nice. Everything fits nicely in their slots. Everything has a place. We have the linen finish cards. Very good
nice.
quality. Yeah, very good quality linen finish. With the gloss, I mean, linen, glossy, all the good stuff there. The artwork, obviously, you guys see on Board Game Arena, but you don't see the back of the cards on Board Game Arena, I don't think.
I don't think I've ever seen the back of the
no,
card.
it's
So
First
let's
time.
take a look at that. I think the artwork's really good on the back of the cards.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's got like a gate there. Then like this one, this is your market cards. So you got a Minotaur there. And you
See,
say,
that's
show
that
me the
dude,
money.
Like his outfit is so interesting to me. It's just so weird to
Break
me.
down his outfit.
And then the blueprints, the backs, see, has a blueprint.
A little blueprint, yeah.
Nailed to the wall or nailed to the brick.
A little wax seal.
And they didn't have to do that. I mean, they got good detail. And these are the objectives that you're drafting.
Okay.
In-game objectives. You have that. And let me see. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's that. Then there's a solo deck that it comes with for the solo mode.
Okay.
So you have that, which is nice. And then you have these very, very handy-dandy player aids.
Which is what Rob needs to be able to identify creatures.
Oh, yeah. I don't care. The
love
red
it.
one, the blue one, the green one, whatever.
It tells you whatever all the elements are in your dungeon. There you go. It's
Okay.
starting to.
The cube and the blob.
Yeah, and then the other side has final scoring, so you know how you're scoring points.
Okay.
It's got that. So yeah, I think the card quality is very good. Like I said, the other components. Oh yeah, I haven't gone over the disc.
Yeah, the coins and stuff. I assume the coins are cardboard.
Yeah. So these are actually wooden. These are wooden discs.
Player
for each
markers,
player. Yeah. the
screen
player
printed.
markers. Screen printed there. There are no coins, Rob, because the coins are on the cards.
Oh, okay. So they don't actually give you physical coins to add up.
Mhm.
Okay.
But let me show you where you keep track of your coins. On the player board, this is coins at the top.
Okay.
All this is coins.
Gotcha.
So you just put your disc on wherever you have coins, and then as you spend money, you move it down the track.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
It also, if you notice here, has the in-game bonus for whoever passes first. 9, 6, and 3 points for first, second, and third. It also has a place for these here. You can see these cards go
gold
here. The gold cards, yep. The challenges go over here. and the
market
cards. Yep, go here. So I mean, everything has a place around the board, which is nice.
Cool.
The box.
I think one thing that we haven't really discussed is the iconography. So much like Shem Phillips and Garfield Games, if you've played one, you can mostly understand the iconography in any other. And I feel that way too with Thunderworks, is if you've played one, you can figure out what the iconography is on the next one.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Absolutely.
That was the aesthetics. So let's get into some negatives. Anybody got thoughts on negatives?
It's getting a bit samey. You know, I think we've played it. I've played it somewhere between 6 to 10 times, probably. Right?
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and it's starting to get a little repetitive, and I feel like there's a little bit of luck in the draw, right? Like you can just get a bad draw, and like the cards that you're handed all just don't fit, and you can't line it up, you know. And I think the third negative I have is like those little tokens that allow you to bridge a gap, like a secret door.
Secret tunnels,
yes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They are very rare.
Yeah, there's
at
only a
least,
couple of them. Yeah,
and they're bought immediately.
You're never going to get to it
unless you're the first player.
The secret passages that connect the two cards.
Yeah. So sometimes it's hard to create a path, or like, and it's not super hard to create a path. I always seem to get a path through,
but it's adding everything else in.
Everything else in that gets a little bit it's hard, and if you're not getting the money right, and so there's some. I don't know. I don't know the right way to say it. There's just some clunkiness there, I guess, in that if you're not getting the right draw, then you're just kind of behind, and it's hard to catch up.
And there really isn't a place to discard or to kind of like just shove a card in a corner, because every one of those 16 slots matters for points acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So in some games where you get like a bad card or something, you're like, yeah, I'll just tuck that over in this area. It really won't impact my game too much. No, it's there. Now you got to do something with it. How do I connect it? How do I at least make this card positive points for me? Right. So it is a little painful if you don't get a good set, especially I feel late on, like once you've kind of set paths, you set what you need, and you're like, okay, this card has to be either this or this. Yeah. And if it's not that, then and I didn't get any of those options in this draft. So all right, that was a waste. And you can't rely, like Wayne said, you can't rely on getting the token you need because they seem to go so fast.
And there's games that I don't even see that token come out, right? So it must not every card like has. Like when you flip over for I don't know what happens in the physical game, but in the other game, you know, it displays here you're purchasing
your market options,
and there's several rounds I've had where in the market there isn't one to even be bought,
right?
Like, you know, and so that
I think there's only a couple through the whole game that I've seen. So yeah.
All right, let's keep beating this dead horse. Anybody else got negatives?
I was just like, well, Chris has played the physical. I haven't played the physical. My feeling is the physical version may be a little fiddly, just because you don't have a whole lot of tokens that you're putting on. But as you acquire those extra traps or those extra bad guys or the secret passages, you are putting them on a board that's, as far as I would know, certainly not a dual layer or anything like that. So I would imagine a good bump of the table. If somebody were to bump the table, it could kind of mess up what you're laying out there, and then putting the cards down. You're just building a 4x4 grid, so not as big a deal. But those paths and stuff matching up, I mean, it's definitely something you don't want to accidentally wipe your hand across and mess up your dungeon, because then it's like, oh crap, now I need to remember to try to set this back exactly the way that it was. But probably not a big issue as long as you're not playing ping pong around your board game.
Rob tends to bring up this idea, this thread, when he talks about certain games.
Hit a table and it goes
right. So it always makes me wonder, like, what kind of people are you playing with, Rob?
Exactly. We're doing gymnastics,
and then I realize it's me.
Yeah, it's Carlos.
He's playing with me. This is why he's worried about it, because he's playing with me.
Tree trunks.
Yeah, don't bump that table, Carlos.
I got Jimmy Dean sausage fingers
off the table, and we keep hitting
our knees every time we slide in.
Y'all still talking about how I made the table lower?
Yeah, it's too short.
We bump our knees. All right, Chris. Any negatives over there coming out of Texas?
I would say the same thing. Yeah, it's those tokens, if they fall off your cards off the dungeon, you don't know where they are. I mean, that's gonna be a problem. I've never had that be a problem as long as you have a solid table that doesn't move around a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that. The other thing is, I'd say the first time you play it is a lot of points, and a lot of things going on. Believe it or not, the mechanisms are simple, but there's a lot of point scoring, a lot of things to keep track of. So I would say your first game, don't expect much out of your score. Expect to have a low score. It's more of a learning game. Second game, you're going to be firing all cylinders. At least for me, I think the second game, it clicked for me.
The first game, I wasn't sure what was going on, but by the second game, I was enjoying it. To rebut Wayne's negative on the sameness, there are a lot of games where I can just enjoy it, even though it's samey. I think Stonespine Architects, which I've been mispronouncing, I guess, for a long time now. Stonespine Architects is one of those, because for me on BGA, I just don't have the brain capacity or the time to really like deep think in these. And this one just allows me to, okay, I know what I'm doing. It's super simple. I'm going to pick this and drop that. This isn't like Castle Combo for me, where Castle Combo feels like there's so many things going on that I have to connect a lot of dots. This one has just enough dots that I need to connect. I can enjoy the sameness on this one.
I got one more thing I thought of. And again, I don't want to sound like we're beating up a game, because I do like the game. It's fun. It's quick. It's simple, but fairly simple. It's got some depth to it. So we talked about briefly that at the end of each round, you're drafting a set of objective cards. And there are lots of times where I might be third or fourth in that taking of those cards. And the cards that are out there, Chris is showing one now, the cards that are out there, sometimes 3 of the 4 are worthless to me. And so unless I really make an effort to pass first, which means probably passing up some other good things just to try to get that one card that I need, a lot of times I feel like I'm taking cards that I really don't want. I really don't even care about. It's just like, oh, I got to pick one of these cards. Let's just pick one. And that's where a little bit of hate might come in, because that might be a spot where I scroll down on BGA to Carlos's board and be like, hold on, what is he doing? Oh, he probably needs that one. All right, well, I don't care about any of these. Let me take the one Carlos needs. So
he's got like 18 kobolds in here. Let me take the one that gives him push or kobolds.
Exactly. So
Yeah, I always feel like I'm losing out on the best of the market stuff.
Yeah.
And then also losing out on the best of the objective cards. Like if you're not picking first or buying first.
Okay, come on, Ricky Bobby, say it. Say it, Ricky Bobby.
If you're not first, you're worst. Right?
If you're not first, you're last.
I know. But and that's where it gets a little where I'm like, I like the game, don't get me wrong, but I think objectively it's
a little frustrating.
It gets a little frustrating, and it's hard to catch up. Right?
Yes.
If someone else is grokking it and has their thing going and gets a lot of gold and is buying the things, that first round or two can really set somebody a good deal ahead of everyone else, and it's hard to sort of end strong.
And this is good. This is, and I know it sounds like we're going long on the negative part, but this is good because people are going to want to decide if they want to buy this.
But like you said, I think this cartographers, they're good games to play, and yeah, it's samey, but a small game like that is gonna be samey, right? I can't think of very many small box games that aren't, in some respects, samey.
Right.
Well, let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's get the summary going here, and then we'll open up the phone lines. Because remember, folks, I like to cut these into separate videos.
Yep.
So this will be its own video. And for you folks that are just watching for the Stonespine Architects aspect of it, remember, this is a call-in show. And on Thursday nights, we take live phone calls from you, the gamers. You call in. You own the show. For 10 minutes, it's yours. You take it in whatever direction you want.
Yep.
Talk about what we're talking about or talk about what you want to talk about. We just talk about gaming and other geeky goodness. Thursday nights right here for the Beans and Dice. Share it with your friends. Let's get into the summary. In summary, I feel this is a try. And it's a try for me. I would put this one behind. Okay, so in playing all three, let me say this. It's a try. Playing the 3 games that I've played from Thunderspire, Role Player, Cartographers, and Stonespine Architects. For me, Stonespine is in the middle. Cartographers is my number 1,
really?
Stonespine in the middle, and then Role Player coming in somewhere very bottom, very, very bottom right now for me.
You never liked the role player, but yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't grok it.
Good game.
You have it in here somewhere?
Oh,
No,
I own
no.
it, so he doesn't own it.
Lots of games in here. Role Player is not one of them.
Oh, yeah. It
Should be a staple of a library.
I need to give it another. I keep saying it. I need to give it another try.
We need to try it again.
Robert,
It's
any summary?
definitely a try for me. I would say it's fun. It's on the lighter side. It is the theme and stuff does a little bit for me, even though theme's not really my thing. I mean, it's cool. It's that dungeony thing that I like, so that works. But I would say definitely a try. It's definitely not an immediate buy. I don't even know if I would say at any price point. If I don't know if you picked it up for $10, maybe if you got a steal, which you're not going to find it for that probably. But if you picked it up for $10 or $15, it would be, I'd say, buy it anyway because you'll probably like it. So you might as well buy it at that point. But otherwise, I would say it's a try. Give it a try before you invest any real money into it. So.
And BGA is a great way to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think I don't think you mentioned it for those that are listening, maybe for the first time watching this. Our scale is basically you buy, you try, or deny it. So would you buy it? Would you try it? Would you deny it? And for me, I'm probably a try into deny because it's on BGA.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's okay. Like I like the game. I think seeing the physical components, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I think I'm a big proponent. I buy a lot of games that I play on BGA. I think
that's why I said wow, because that didn't sound like Wayne.
Yeah, I think, but I've also realized that there are some games that I play enough on BGA where I don't feel the need to own it. But then there's a lot of games that I do play a lot where I'm like, I want to own it. So I'm probably more into buying than not from games on BGA. But the fact that this is on BGA and the implementation's so good, I'm kind of like a try to deny because it's an enjoyable game, but I don't see the need to own it because I could just play it on BGA anytime.
And Chris owns it.
Yeah, the guy who actually bought it. What do you say?
I say try it. Everyone should try it on Board Game Arena. But if you like card drafting a lot, as much as I do, and you also like tile laying, and you like that combination, that marriage of the two, I would say consider buying it. I mean, granted, I would still try it on Board Game Arena, but I would consider a heavy try to, consider buying it if you like those two mechanisms. You like what you see, buy it. But if you don't like card drafting, if you don't like tile laying, or those aren't your favorite mechanisms, then probably not want to buy it. I'd say just try it out, and you're probably good after that.
Agreed.
And then lastly, I'll say that I personally enjoy playing the physical version better than the BGA. I would say that with almost every game, though. There are a few exceptions, but I love playing it with the physical components because the component quality is very good. So if you're a person that likes good components and a $40 price, then that might be another reason you might want to buy it.
All right, well, that's our thoughts from the Beans and Dice crew, plus Pop and Tot, Chris from Pop and Tot. Our opinions on Stonespine Architects. Don't forget, Thursday nights, live call-in show. Join us. You can call in live during the show, even if you're not watching on YouTube. Just know that anytime between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be taking phone calls, and you can just call in and see if we're available. If not, leave a voicemail or email us at beansanddice@gmail.com with your questions and comments. Thanks so much for watching our segment of Give It the Beans.